Good morning, everyone. And I'd like to thank you all the respected dignitaries on the stage and all the great education leader in front of me. I kind of feel now a student in the final year facing an exam because seeing all of you and also sir was setting the stage on fire with all the statistics which I was supposed to say for 5 minutes. So it's great that we have a great vision as a nation and echoing all his points, we as a nation, we are facing a lot of challenges in terms of growth. Anytime there is pain, there is growth, right? I mean, you have to accept whether you are an organization or a nation or an individual, when you faced with the growth, there's always pain, right? And that's what India is facing now. Like 10 years ago, as a technology company, we've been building technology for 17 years now, and we visited and contributed to more than 25 countries. What we have witnessed in India and elsewhere, the higher education was dynamic. It was changing. It's not constant, right? A lot of new innovations were coming. So 10 years ago, we saw from grade system, we moved to learning outcomes, and we wanted to build a outcome-based education. There are other pedagogies were started building like competency-based educations, and competencies were different for pharmacy or medical education, like competency-based medical education. When we started building and advising universities like that, and there was a lot of interest for flipped learning, a lot of interest for online learning, and students exchange programs. And then we also wanted to build a relationship with international universities and faculty exchange. These were something that every institutions were focused on, right? Then came the accreditation things, whether you're talking about institutional accreditation or program-specific accreditation. And we got ambitious and we wanted to become international accredited institutions. So this is all good, right? And we, as a technology company, had the moral obligation to support all that. And then, as a growing nation, fantastic initiative that we have come up with the framing frameworks like national ranking frameworks. Then we had NEP, and that's putting a lot of initiative. Like I said, it's a great initiative, wonderful initiative. It is what we need, but it's putting the administrator of the education under a lot of pain and stress. And so we as technology companies, we focus to advise and help, see how we can, help them. And all of these things are happening, and new initiatives are happening. And so, as statistics speaks, we are becoming the third largest economy very soon in the next few years. We are still the largest buyers of the world. We're still the largest population, and that adds another responsibility to the higher education leaders. And we are a country faced with a variety of culture, right? We in the urban towns we have an amazing private universities with fantastic infrastructure, but then we go to the rural areas where the institutions are not at privileged like we are in the cities. So there is a huge gap. The vision of the president, the prime minister, and the country is reaching to the villages and rural areas, taking time. And so we are looking at technology as service, saying technology as a bridge to connect this gap. Whether you are talking about a student success, a student comes to an institution with a hope to build its career, or an entrepreneur, any dream they come, there is a gap, right? So how do we leverage technology there? And there is one thing as a company that we noticed, everywhere you go, including the biggest nations in the world, there's very little focus on the faculty in terms of technology, right? Although there are so many initiatives to do faculty development program, but the technology is not supporting the faculty growth, faculty, their performance or their planning of their lessons or whatsoever. Now, there is a new initiative everywhere that we're talking about institutional effectiveness. So as a university, if you look at it, there is student, there's faculty, and as a group, there is institutional effectiveness. So how do we bring that all together in a technology or as an organization to have a vision to create that institutional effectiveness? So I have found many institutions worldwide, good institutions have a 5 to 10 year strategic plan, right? When you have strategic plan where you have focus for student, you have focus for faculties, you have focus for the nearest industry, what kind of skills we have to develop, the connection between the industry and also the institution is also now slowly being built upon, right? So that's where we as a technology companies can see what kind of things we can talk. With all these challenges, now we are faced with ChatGPT, right? So ChatGPT can come now. We thought when we were talking about assessments, we can have systems to track if there is any, if they've copied from the internet and all that. We thought we figured it out with the technology. But now with the ChatGPT, you can ask anything. You can go and ask, how do I do surgery at the most critical operations and things like that, right? And ChatGPT can answer. So now it is adding another pressure to the faculties that now you have to go beyond knowledge-wise, skill-wise, that you have to be much higher level to moderate. So what is that we are facing is that knowledge is plenty now. The knowledge is coming through massive online courses, through YouTube, through edX. And the faculty shortage is being filled with these online videos and sessions. But at the same time, how do we moderate this? Who is going to guide the students to pick up their career, or they want to become an entrepreneur? And so we worked with many institutions, very largest institution in the world, to build something like a student journey with a portfolio. Like, as a student, you have to predict their future. You have to give them data. So for a student goes and says from a village with age like this and want to study, say in liberal arts, become an journalist or something, can we predict their success rate, based on the data we have? And for that, we need to get the house in order, because the biggest thing that we are faced with is that having a proper data, right? The data is everywhere. The data is not organized in institutions and everywhere else. So we're working towards that goal. So hopefully in my next session, we will address, there are 3 points I would like to address, where how do we drive towards the student success, where they become successfully employable or they build their own business. And then how do we address the faculty gap in the life cycle of the faculty, and also see how as an institution we can become more effective, where you have your accreditation sorted, your rankings sorted, you have your international focus started, and then we are open to listen to feedback from students and faculty and improve the institution. And there's a continuous improvement, continuous development we would like to focus as organizations. So with that, thank you very much for joining us today, and I will meet you in the next session at 12. Thank you.